In the last video, we created the connection to Firebase, and we want to make sure a good programmer that will always test as they're going along. So we should run our code and make sure everything is working correctly at this stage. And yes, the temperatures are coming through there again, so that appears to be working correctly. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our data ready to send to Firebase. So in previous videos, we cleaned everything up. And we just made sure that there was data definitely being sent there. So what we done was we said that if the length of the data was greater than 0, because sometimes the data came through and we had a bit of issues with the buffering of it or whatever. Now you could also cast your data to an int here or whatever you want, but we leave it for the moment just for simplicity. So I'll make sure that I'm nested inside my if statement, because I want to make sure that that data is ready in that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get the data ready to post. Then I'm going to create a variable called Firebase data, and this is actually we're going to use what's known as a JSON object structure, so JavaScript object notation type structure here. And basically this takes the form, I'll just get back here one, I'm going to click inside and nest inside, it's known as your key value pairing, and you can be sending more than one thing here, but just for this example we're going to send one thing. So the key is going to be the name that we're going to give it, so I'm going to call it temp, which is short for temperature. And the value that we're going to put in there is going to be our data. So there's the data ready to post. And what we've got to do next then is actually post the data to Firebase. So post the data to Firebase. And to do this, again, make sure that you're nested inside here, inside your if statement, so that you're not sending any buffer data that has nothing in it. We were going to go up and get our connection variable. Copy that fella if you want, or FB underscore con is what it's called. Put that in there, and we're going to use the method post. And inside post here, it takes two arguments, argument 1 and argument 2. The second argument is the easiest one to talk with first. This is the data that you're sending. So the data you're sending is the Firebase data there that we created. So this is the data we're sending, and argument 1 then is where we're actually sending it to. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a little folder. So if I look back at my Firebase here, looking at Firebase, at the moment there's nothing in there, and I'm going to, I could reference here, but I'm going to create a little folder in here to target this. I'm going to call it temperature readings, and that's me actually hard coding this in myself. So I'll do a / to say, hey, I want you to go inside here, nest inside here, a bit like a subfolder if you like or wish. I'm going to call this temp readings, and I'm going to say, just so there's no problems in the future, call it temp underscore readings, and another / there, so that the data is going to be nested inside this. So save this up, and what we'll have a quick double check back at Firebase there, and you can see there's nothing in there, no magic going on. So when I run now, hopefully we get no errors. You can see it's just printing off here in my Python shell, 19 and another 19, and that's all good. And what we do here, we go back to Firebase. You can see that that folder I created, temperature readings, is now receiving live readings from my microbit. So every time a green one comes up there, that's a new reading that's been put in. If I click on this plus, I can see that that name I put in there, temp 19. And what I'm going to do very quickly, just to really highlight this, I'm going to stop the program. I'm going to change this to Jigaboo Jones, and I'm going to make sure it's the Firebase data there. I'm going to change this to Baba Black Sheep, or Baba Pink Sheep maybe, Pink Sheep, and we'll go on. We'll go back into Firebase. And I can show you how very easy you can delete data that you've had there. You could have deleted particular nodes or deleted the whole kind of folder element of it if you like, or So that was a whole node, but then you had your children underneath it. Look, it's nothing to go into. But we go run it again, and we run it again. The temperature is coming through there, 20 again. We go back in here, and you can see now that folder I created there was Jigaboo Jones, and underneath there we've got our Baba Pink Sheep and temperature 20 again. Totally just showing you that the naming conventions are whatever you make them. So what I'm saying here is you've got the overall node, it's referred to, or folder if you like, Jigaboo Jones. In there you've got this is Firebase's way of making a timestamp for what you have put in, and each time you've pulsed in, transmitted a reading, I called it, the key was Baba Pink Sheep, and the value was the temperature that I'm sending. I could delete node by node if I wanted. So that's just that bottom one going to be gone there. Or I could delete that whole kind of folder there, and there's Jigaboo Jones gone. And let's put it back to what we want, which was temp readings. And change this key value here, which must be inside quotes there, to temp. And that's all good again. And just make sure one last time there that we're working all correctly. Run it once more. So I should stop from the previous one. Run it. Temperatures again here should be working. We'll go back to our Firebase. We can now see that our main folder, if you like, is temp readings, and our subfolders, which contain the timestamp to what you've sent, or a kind of particular reference key. And then you've got your key value temp and your temperature that you sent, which you can see is a string denoted by the strings there. So see you in the next video for what we're going to do next.